Hey you guys, so I've decided to put this video together on a whim because I'm getting so many questions about what I'm doing to lose the weight, and I just wanted to share here and put some information out there for you guys that might be helpful. So keep watching. I know I'm not my typical glammed up self, but this is really what I look like pretty much every day of the week, except when I have a shoot or I'm going out to do something special. So disclaimer aside, I don't want y'all to feel like I'm catfishing y'all on the gram, but if you ever watch my stories, you know this is what it looks like daily. All right, so let's get into it. I've shared very openly that I'm on a weight loss journey that is intentional. I know that can be a trigger for many, so if it is, you can exit this video at this point. So I had already been in the process of making the decision that I was going to pursue weight loss surgery because I literally have to lose at least 150 pounds to be considered a candidate for hip replacement. And that was what I learned about a year or two ago. And as you can see, I've been dragging my feet. At my highest weight, I was 490 pounds. When I decided to really put some effort into my weight loss journey, I was 482 pounds. Currently, I am at 452 as of my last weigh-in. So I've seen the weight come down, but honestly, most of that work has occurred within the last month or so, and that is because I really started making a conscious effort. So prior to me changing my dietary habits, I had already started exercising. I put together my recumbent bike and decided to introduce more intentional movement back into my lifestyle. When the arthritis developed, it took me a really long time to get the mobile aids that I needed and start doing the physical therapy because I was just in denial. And as a result, movement became harder for me. So with the bike, it was really less about weight loss and more about learning how to move my body again in a manner which would benefit me and help build some muscle around the hip bone to make my mobility a little bit easier for myself. With that being said, it did help, shed a couple of pounds, but as we all know, weight loss is really 80% what we eat and 20% workout. Or maybe it's like 75 to something else ratio, whatever. But at any rate, about a month and a half ago, if you haven't heard the story, I took my blood, it was elevated, and as I started to chart it, I realized I was in the pre-diabetic stage, and I didn't want to be put on metformin. I don't want to develop diabetes, and I'm more prone to insulin resistance because I have hypothyroidism and it comes with the territory. So it just really made me uncomfortable and nervous. And with the health issues that I already have, I was like, I really do not want to add anything else to it. So I did some research to find out how I could naturally reverse the effects of my blood sugar being elevated. And one of the things that I learned was going low carb, so to speak, was a really effective way to do so. Now, I want to be very clear here that low carb does not mean no carbs, it just means lowering the amount of carbs you take in. And it is not the keto diet either. So I decided to cut out bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, pretty much anything like super starchy. I don't even really eat a lot of fruits. I do, however, eat a lot of vegetables and lean protein. And that is how I started changing my diet. I drink a lot of water, and I have to because it helps keep everything flush and detox, keeps the skin clear, can't you see? But helps move the bowel and the digestive system to work in a manner that's effective for whatever you're trying to do with your weight or even just your health. So a typical meal plan for me looks like this. In the morning, I will have a bowl of oatmeal. And oatmeal is a good food candidate for me because it helps control sugar. And once I learned that, I decided I just want to incorporate that into my daily eating. So typically that is what I have for breakfast. Sometimes I change it up and have some eggs with veggies in it, but really that's about it. I go back and forth between eggs and oatmeal. For lunch, I literally have a salad every day. And that may seem really boring, but there's like a ton of salad kits out there. The brand that we eat is from Aldi, I believe, or Kroger. So it's Taylor Farms. And it's nothing super fancy, but everything you need is in the bag. I do try to be mindful of the dressings that may have more sugar in them. And I try to avoid the ones that have like croutons in them. But just a salad every day. Sometimes if I don't have a salad on hand because I haven't gone to the store or something, I will eat leftovers from the night before. As for dinner just consists of a plate full of veggies and fish or chicken breast or turkey sausage. I personally am trying to avoid beef, not because I feel like killing cows is wrong, because I don't, but because the way my body adversely reacts to beef. I've learned that my inflammation increases when I'm eating beef products, so I try to avoid beef at all costs. So a lot of seafood, a lot of lean protein. Every once in a while I may have pork, but I've really been leaning towards turkey bacon a lot lately. And that is honestly it. Like, there's nothing fancy going on there. I also cut out snacking. So I used to be a really big snacker, like in between meals, especially if I wasn't eating at a regular time. So that's another thing. I pretty much set myself to a schedule of not skipping meals, but eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If I get up late in the day, it does shift my food schedule, but not by much. And it's not that I never snack, because I do, but I'm really conscious about the things that I do snack on. So I do look for things that are low carb, low in calories, so it's not a bunch of empty calories that I'm consuming. And I've also been using an app that coincides with my weight loss goals. So the particular app that I'm using is called Lose It. It's very similar to MyFitnessPal. And basically you tell the app what your weight loss goal is. You want to lose a pound a week, half a pound a week, 2 pounds a week. My goal was 2 pounds a week. So with that information, you put your weight in, and it will generate a goal date, meaning if you follow this budget that we're setting for you, you will reach your goal by this amount of time. So once you put your weight in, it tells you what your calorie budget is for the day. So my calorie budget, because I was already so big, was something like 3,000 calories a day. Now, if you guys know anything about 3,000 calories, if you're eating 3,000 calories a day, you'll be my size in no time. But for me, the 3,000 calories a day was a reduction in what it would take to maintain my current weight. So what ended up happening is I don't eat 3,000 calories in a day. Once I started tracking how I was eating, making that conscious effort to cut out the breads and all those things, I'm eating half of that, maybe a little more than half of that, which is why my weight loss was so quick in this first month, because I really reduced the calories in what I was eating. Now, I know for some of you who may be watching this, calorie counting and things like that might be a trigger point for you. And again, this may not be the video for you. I always felt conflicted about diets, because if you don't stick to them, you'll gain the weight back. The reality is this is not a diet for me. Learning how adversely certain foods were impacting my health, I've just decided this is what I need to do for me, period. Because even if I were to lose all the weight that I need to lose for surgery, if I go back to eating that way, I'm going to hurt my health. And that's bigger to me than just the weight loss. It's something to be said when I'm having these flare-ups and I'm already prone to them because I have an autoimmune disease, but exacerbating them makes no sense. Sometimes in our efforts to be all about self-love and this, that, and the third, we kind of tell ourselves, you can do what you want to do, love yourself, eat the cookie or whatever, but those things may be harmful depending on the individual, and that does not apply to everybody, but it applied to me in this situation. So I'm doing the best that I can to change my eating habits. One of the things that I have learned about myself in this process, which I did blog about, is that I realized that I was an emotional eater. For a lot of you who may not know, I used to be a heavy weed smoker and a heavy cigarette smoker. And when I cut those things out of my life about 5 years ago, it was like not having a coping mechanism anymore. And then my thyroid started acting up, and then there was a series of things that occurred in my life which were anxiety and emotional inducing, and I started eating my emotions, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until I was in this process of changing my eating habits, and I realized, oh snap, I'm upset and I want to eat something. And it dawned on me, like, I don't have anything here to eat anymore. There's no snacks, there's no cookies, there's nothing here. But it helped me realize that even without recognizing it, I had returned to a coping mechanism that I hadn't used in a very long time since I was a kid. So this journey has definitely been very therapeutic, but and very eye-opening for me about the changes that I need to make for myself. Now, in addition to the food changes, I did mention earlier that I'm exercising. So basically, I exercise 5 times a week for the most part. Sometimes 5 to 6. If it's a bad week with pain, maybe 4 days a week, but on average, it's 5 days a week. And I'm not doing anything exceptional. I use a recumbent bike because it's low impact on my hip and allows for freedom and movement of my hip without hurting myself. I do about 30 to 40 minutes a time on the bike. The bike has different setting programs to change the resistance, so I change it up every day or weekly just to give myself a challenge. Really proud of myself. When I first started, I could only make it about 15 minutes on the bike. Now that I can do 30 to 40 minutes, that feels great. My heart feels great when I'm doing it. I don't feel like I'm about to die. And I have come to really enjoy it and find it to be a form of therapy for myself. I recently, within the last couple of weeks, bought a weight set. Nothing extreme. It's like 2, 3, and 5 pound weights. I've increased now to the 5 pound weights, and hopefully now I can move on to something else pretty soon. But I include weight training in what I do, just to kind of strengthen myself and strengthen my body throughout this process. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing to lose weight. Know that nothing I've said here is magical. It's probably things that you guys have read before, have heard before. I think during a time where like all these fad diets like keto and paleo and all this stuff, like there's so many extremes. I almost thought that I would have to do something extreme to lose the weight. Not having a thyroid, in case you guys don't know, is really it's the powerhouse of your body. So not having it throws everything off in your body, including your weight. I've been on hormone replacement now for 2 years, and within this last year, my levels have actually evened out to the point where now I'm able to lose weight. Before I wasn't able to because my hormones were off. My TSH was too high. I've also blogged about all of that. And if you are watching this and you have hypothyroidism, you already know the drill. But yeah, I'm not doing anything magical. I'm literally just doing what works for my body. And I want to stress that enough. I totally believe in autonomy for everybody and making the choices that you need to make for your body. So I am not telling anybody you need to do what I'm doing. I'm just answering the questions that have been asked of me. I want to be transparent through this. I didn't want to start losing weight and then magically start selling flat tummy time tea to y'all and belly wraps because I got smaller. Like, no, this is a progress. This is a process and it's a journey. And because I know so many of you are on this journey too, I figured, why not share what I'm going through, the emotional, mental, and physical aspects of this whole entire process. So I hope you got the information you were looking for here. I was going to do this as a stories, but obviously it was a lot of information. So I'm just going to slap it here on my IGTV, and it'll be here for you guys to watch if you want to watch it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.